Hey there, Alex here. It took a while, but the Xiaomi Mi 6 is finally available in Singapore officially. It's the 64GB variant and it cost a rather reasonable 599 Singapore dollars. With its flagship level specifications and all-round good looks, is this the best budget flagship device out there? Let's find out. First things first, there is no fancy bezel screen on the Mi 6. It looks pretty much like your typical smartphone, but I don't think it matters just yet. This might not be the most futuristic looking phone, but I still like having that fingerprint sensor on the front, and having a 16:9 screen is one way to do that. That is until someone figures out how to hide it under the display. While we're talking about the screen and fingerprint sensor, they're both excellent on the Mi 6. The fingerprint sensor is really fast, really accurate, and the screen is really good looking. It's able to get really bright outdoors and really dim when I'm using it in the dark. It might only be a 1080p IPS LCD panel, but at just 5.15 inch, it's more than good looking enough. 5.15 inch is a relatively modest size for a high-end phone these days, and might not appeal to everyone, but I love it. This display size with a thin and well-constructed mix of curved edge glass and metal feels amazing in the hand. I'm a little concerned about how well it will hold up against scratches looking at other reviews, but at least it comes with a case in the box, which is always nice to see. Something that isn't as nice is the lack of proper water resistance, but Xiaomi did say that the phone is properly sealed and splash resistant. My initial impression of the phone is really one of surprise. Surprised at how much they managed to pack into a phone this small. The processor is top of the line with ample amount of storage and RAM. The impressive part is how they've managed to pack in a 3350mAh battery, dual cameras without any protrusion, an IR blaster, and even a pair of pretty decent sounding dual speakers setup. There is one minor concession though. There is no headphone jack on the phone, so you'll have to use the included dongle if you need it. It's not a big deal for me since I prefer wireless earbuds anyway. After spending some time with the phone, I'm really quite impressed with it. The interface still feels fast and fluid despite the relatively feature-heavy MIUI. Graphically intensive games plays well too as expected from the Snapdragon 835 chipset. In terms of performance, no complaints from me. Battery life is also pretty good. I'm averaging slightly over a day of use, which is what I would consider to be slightly above average. Of course, you get the usual fast charging too. You probably saw this coming if you have seen my other Xiaomi phone reviews. MIUI 8 is still not my favorite Android skin for a few reasons, one of which is the slightly peculiar permissions requirements for some apps. Like, I should be able to still use basic features of the Gallery app without granting it permissions to my contacts. It's probably not a big deal, but I'm just a little bit more paranoid than most folks. The other reasons are the slower Android version update, an overload of features, and the look and feel of the software. Also, despite running Android Nougat, it's missing a few key features like multi-window mode and fast app switching. Those are coming with MIUI 9, but that's still in beta unfortunately, and who knows when we'll be seeing Android Oreo on this phone. Some of my complaints are really just personal preference though, because I do get the appeal of MIUI. It comes with tons of customizations and features that I think could be genuinely useful for some folks, like double tap to wake, adding a lock screen button on the home screen, locking individual apps, and swiping down anywhere on the home screen to get to notifications. Since this is a dual SIM phone, the duplicate apps features is super useful as well if you need 2 WhatsApp accounts on your phone. Then there is this reading mode too, which makes the display warmer so it's more comfortable to read on, and I can even set it to turn on automatically in certain apps. So while I still prefer stock Android for that clean software experience, I can't deny that for a lot of regular consumers, MIUI can provide a pretty comprehensive experience. The Mi 6 comes with a fashionable dual camera setup similar to the iPhone 7 Plus. You get a main 12MP camera with optical image stabilization and a secondary 12MP camera with a bit more reach. It's really nothing new at this point. You get a lossless 2x zoom and a portrait mode. To me, 2x zoom isn't really that much, and the portrait mode doesn't really look that amazing. Worst of all, the second camera only works in good lighting since both the aperture and pixel size are smaller. The good thing is, even putting aside the dual camera setup, the overall camera experience is still really good. I'm not 100% certain on this, but I'm like 90% sure that there is some sort of auto HDR mode in action even when HDR mode is off. because the dynamic range is just too good to be just the image sensor. Activating the HDR mode just gives the images a more exaggerated HDR look. For shots in good lighting, image processing looks good enough to me. It's a camera that I can just point and shoot and get good looking images most of the time. Video recording looks good for the most part too, other than a tiny bit of warping from the stabilization. Even in low light, it's still able to produce some good looking results. The image processing can be a bit heavier in some shots, but most of the images I took are pleasing to look at. The cherry on top is that the 8MP front camera performs pretty well too in most lighting conditions. Overall, the Mi 6 might not have the best smartphone camera experience I've used so far, but it's definitely what I would consider a flagship level performance. With all that said, I ended up liking the phone a lot more than I thought I would. It's a great looking phone with a lot of things done right. Hardware wise, it's a pretty complete package. Compared to the already budget friendly OnePlus 5, it's not only cheaper, but it has a much better looking screen, a nicer looking splash resistant body, dual speakers, and I think even the cameras might be a bit better, especially the image processing in low light. For me, the only major downside is just the software experience. MIUI is just not my cup of tea. Like, if it ran stock Android, I wouldn't even give the OnePlus 5 a second look. But if this doesn't concern you at all, or you actually like MIUI, the Xiaomi Mi 6 might be one of the best budget flagship devices in the market right now. Thanks for watching my very late review of the Xiaomi Mi 6. If you liked it, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, and see you guys on the next one.